this channel. Well, today I am preparing some boards for the bottom of a door, yeah. Some boards that effectively I've stolen from a sideboard. But don't tell the missus. He doesn't know anything about it, no. So we're going to machine them up, through the edges if necessary, and then prepare them for the bottom of a door. This is not an oak door that I've built, and it's been hanging about for a while now, so it needs to be done. So it's over here. It is. Do. So I really could do a bit of tidying up as well, to be fair. But there we go. Let's put some light on the matter. And over here we have a door. I have to have an electrical box. So let's get rid of that. I'm in such a mess at the moment. I've been doing so many different things, and it's just literally stuff everywhere. Oh, I really need to tidy up. I really do. So, I do wonder if YouTube will show me video to anybody. I hope so, but maybe not. Maybe they will. We'll see. Here we go. So the thing is, you see, this door here, which I've built out of oak, and these are the boards for which I have reclaimed from this old unit, which I've cut up. So, needless to say, it's no longer an old unit. It's just bits of wood. And that's what you do when you want to recycle or repurpose some timber. That's how it is, you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to run some of this through the old planer, the old multi-coat. Yeah, this is a 240 volt, 12-inch wide planer. So let's put it over here so you can see what is coming out of the other end. Yes, not that end. No, the other end of the planer. There we are. Hello there, who's just coming into the stream. What we're doing is we are going to be preparing some wood up for this door that I've been building. The frame is up there behind it. It's all jointed, proper mortise and tenon joints, what have you. And the boards at the bottom here, ones that I've reclaimed, and from a sideboard from the house. I put a vase in the way, alright? You won't notice. Alright, so we're going to machine them up ready for the bottom of that door, and they're going to be have to be tongue grooved, you see. So first of all, we're going to actually run it through the the planer. I've got my wireless mic on, so hopefully the sound is okay. And I'm walking around here, and I'm thinking, crikey, I've gone live, and the workshop is in a bloody mess. Oh dear me, what am I like? Anyway, let's turn it on and see what we can get out of it. So this is one of the boards. As you see, it's got, you know, it's actually quite a nice piece of oak in there. But they've got this nasty kind of varnish verni on there. A bit of hell to stay. And now it's like a new piece of wood. Ain't that nice? From that to that. Now, both these pieces of oak came from the same unit. This one looks a bit like American red oak to me, and this one looks like French European oak, you know, just European oak. But it's from the same actual unit. I don't matter, because we are going to be putting some dye on the timber. I just want to show you something here. If you look at this piece here, right, you see where I've taken the finish off. This is just a clean piece of oak now. If you look on this side here, where effectively we've cut the timber in a different direction, you can see the flex in there. Now that, if off the board was that way up, it'd be quarter sawn. Hence all these flecks. This side here is just plain sawn. Quarter sawn, plain sawn. So it depends where it is in the tree. All depends where you cut it. this one as well. That's quarter sawn. It's not quite as noticeable, but there's a bit of quarter sawn in there. Tilts for the unit, but staples in the back. With her back was stapled on. So the unit's not that old. She was made in the 60s, 70s, but probably 70s, I reckon. Staple in the back, hang on. Bloody hell. People, eh? If you're wondering why I'm just using one side of the planer, unfortunately I put a nail for this side, so I got a bit of a notch in the cutter. So I've got to sharpen them again. Now you tell when you run your fingers over here if your plane irons have been had put a bit notched, you'll have ridges. There isn't no ridges on there, so obviously I'm on the okay part of the plane knives. Planer knives. See how old we'll finish on there, look. This is inside the unit, or underneath. Yeah, that's underneath the unit. This is inside, or on the top, one or the other. So I'm taking a bit off on this side, on the thick varnish side. You can see that there's some grooves in there. But let's say, for instance, you didn't want to take that much off, and you didn't want to have that groove in there. What you can do is, once you planed it, you took the worst of it off, just took the finish off, yeah, and exposed the grain. What you do is put water on there, put a rag over the top, and get an iron and iron it. What that will do, the steam will open up the pores in the timber and expand it. And that will disappear. Obviously, you've got to let the wood dry out before we put the finish back on again, but you know, that'll literally pull it out. So, the same thing if you've got half crowns where you hit a bit of wood, you've got these little dimples everywhere, you can actually remove those using the same method. There's videos on this channel actually showing how to do that. And also, like clamping marks, where you get the shoes, they create little indentations. You can force them out with iron. Just an ordinary iron, you know, for ironing your clothes, and a little bit of a damp rag. A damp rag? Yes, a damp rag! That one there is really coarse on, you can see that. That quarter saw makes some lovely furniture, what have you. Yeah, we get got on the top face on the finish. We have got some units with some quarter sawn. It's veneer, it's not actually solid, but with some quarter sawn in the veneers. And I have to admit, it's very pretty. It's sort of like glistens, it does. Now I've got a plane the other side as well. I think we need to take these staples out first. Hello, Black Wolf. I hope you're well. Good morning from the beautiful forests of the PNW. I do love nature. I love nature. I love wood. After all, you know, the two seem to go together, don't they? You know. I just appreciate it. You know, appreciate nature. Wildlife and, you know, all the little critters. Why would you use staples to fix the back of a flipping backboard on the unit? They're going to be hard to get rid of, they are. Only staples, so you know you can cut them with the saw if you had to. But I'll get rid of as many as I can, because only metal will dull the blade. The thing about these staples, they're so bloody thin, they just break off, don't they? Especially when you try to pull them out of oak. No, that's just going to break that one. So is that one. Just grip them. I'm not trying to cut them, I'm just trying to grip them. Nah, I don't want to know. Oh, no, it's sort of getting it, but then that sort of breaks off. That's no good. Let's get off what I can. Just stabbing off. But they're staples. What's wrong with brass pins? If you do want brass pin the bag on instead of staples, if you're going to use staples, what you want is crowns. I'll show you some crown staples like these. These are crown staples. Right, they're literally, they're like a little nail, effectively, a bit like a finished nail, but as a crown staple. So these are ideal put back, not as thick, long as those ones, but yeah, that sort of thing for putting backs on units. The other thing about this one is that even in a rebate. So, you know, it was a strange unit, mind. It had these weird kind of square piece of wood with holes in, and bars, actually, 4 bars. This is actually one of them. And there's a series of these bars going into these 4 weird square things, and the shelves sat on them. It was a really odd design. I am in France, so. It's obviously somebody trying to be a little bit arty or something. For me, it didn't work. It was stupid. I'm not going to get these out. All I can do is get out the best I can. That'll get cut off. I've still got to put the food plane on the other side as yet, so I just thought, hang on, let's do something manual. And yeah, I won't have to listen to the bloody machine all the while. So hopefully these will come a bit better. I'll do one side first like that, then I'll turn it around and do the other side and staple, because that seems to work better. Now these ones aren't so rusty. That one must be on the bottom board. This is on the top, which would, yeah, it's right. This was off the top of the unit, so the bottom one's obviously got rusty where it's nearer the ground. So turn it around. Oh, actually, hang on. That old dust don't have to get through you sometimes. I do wear dust masks, but when it's really hot, which it is at the moment, oh, it's just impossible. I need one of them airflow things, because Trend make a dust mask. It's like a face. I'll break off. Like a face screen, like a face mask, but has a filtration system on it, which to me makes perfect sense. You have got the weight of it, obviously the weight of the battery that powers it. But it's quick to put on, and gives you good vision. Providing obviously this, you know, the mask is actually still. That one came out a lot easier. I've got only one failed on that one, on one side. I wonder if I can get that with these channel locks. God, my workshop's in such a mess at the moment. I actually hate it when it's like that. I really, really hate it. I need my workshop fairy. She's hot and sweaty at the moment, so she's gone to have a shower. Yeah, my dear wife, she comes kind of help me. She's a good lass. But no, she puts up with me really. I'm not going for that. I might end up cutting through it, but it doesn't matter. They're only staples. Ain't gonna hurt anything. So these now need to go back through. Or let's just see if I get these last ones here. If it's possible to grip them. No, that one's too short. Just have to knock them for that. Obviously, I won't be running my plane over this edge, so that will have to be the cut edge. Now I've got one board too many, just under one board too many. Now because I had to cut this wood, this was all glued up, this wood, okay. But I don't know what type of glue it is, and also how old the glue is. It might even be animal glues, you know. It might be PVA, I don't know. It might be a resin, it might be waterproof. But you see, because this is a door, I didn't want to have like glue joints in the middle of a board for this door, because if I did that, there's a risk of that glue joint giving up with the expansion and contraction and moisture getting in. So what I did is, all these boards have been cut from the main top and the bottom of this unit, because they're both solid wood. And I literally cut out the glue joint. So I've got rid of the glue joint, effectively, to start again, because I'm not going to be gluing together. It's going to be tongue grooved, because it's got to be able to move. Because there's a door between this bottom panels, which is vertical boards in it, they've got to be able to expand and contract across their width. If you don't do that, effectively the pressure of the door will either make the panels or the boards pop, or it'll just literally damage your joints. So you're at risk of damaging your mortise and tenons at the bottom and the middle, possibly. The more likelihood is it's going to pop. It's going to get so tight, it'll just end up pushing itself out, which isn't a great thing. No, don't want that. It won't work. And Mike, well, what you making? I'm making a door. Yes, I've done the front. I'm using the wood that I've got, and I've actually normally I cut all the rebates in and stuff like that, but because the timber wasn't wide enough, anyway, the timber wasn't wide enough, so I'm actually going to glue the extra piece of timber on to make the rebates. These were big enough for the frame. It's quite chunky oak frame, so that's going to be going into the wall. This is actually for a customer. They sure it will be as much recycled as possible, which is good. I like that. Hello, Sebastian. I got my dog. One of two. I did have three, but I lost Tim. Yeah, my little Wally dog, which my woodworking business is named after, Wallybois Wood. Oh, he passed away last year. That really got me. It did. It really did. He was a lovely, lovely little boy. He really was. So we've got this little one pestering us instead. For now. So yes, I'm making a door, and it's an oak door. It's quite a chunky door. It's about 2.1 meters tall. The door is, and it's just under a meter wide. It's quite a sort of short, socky door. The door she's got in, she's got an old farmhouse type. It's converted barn, and like cattle shed thing, And she had a door fitted a year ago, was it a year or two ago anyway, an aluminium one, and it was just tall, ridiculously tall, and narrow. I mean, really narrow. It looks really weird, and it's a good quality door. It's just ugly as hell, really ugly, and she's This woman, she's great, but she kind of leaves you to your own devices. She's very artistic, but she very much relies upon your art, so to speak. So we agreed on a half panel door, it's half glazed door. So £4 or 6, depending on what really worked out. 4 worked out better than 6 in this case. And because they'd be too narrow, wouldn't they? Well, if we did 6 now, that would be bloody awful. It'd be all either really stumpy or really narrow. So anyway, so I've got to create the rebates in here, which I'm going to do by adding wood, not taking wood away. Just keep everything as chunky as I possibly can. But I won't do it so to try and hide the rebate. I'll actually make it so it looks like it's supposed to be. There's a little bit of moulding in it as well. Not so, fairly non-pretentious moulding, just half round or something like that. A door, says Mike. Yes, a door. So, I need to run these back through the planer. That's what we're going to do there. All right. And there is the planer. It's a 12-inch, 240 volts, not three-phase. We have got three-phase at the post, but we haven't got it in the workshop because we're doing a lot of we've got a lot of solar power and stuff here, and I'll try and make use of it. When any place gets dusty and dirty, it shows you where all your cobwebs are. How embarrassing. I need to get me old fishnets on and and do some dusting and get rid of these cobwebs. That's what I need to do. Sebastian, you come back again. You want another one? I'm going to flip that over. Hey! What you don't want to do is allow your piece of wood to go through the planer and let it just drop off. The reason for that planer, this is really, really important. Let's go to the blackboard. Which one? Oh, the one in here, I reckon. Oh, because that's what it's there for. All right, we've got a blackboard. There we have. All right, so I'm going to explain why. My drawings are probably going to be absolutely terrible. I'll explain why you shouldn't let the wood just fall off the end. Now, I've got a yellow one here, right? You got, effectively, you've got your cutter block in the middle. Is there something to draw around? How a beer can? Oh no, it's actually got beer in it. I wasted beer? Oh my God. I'll use that instead. All right. So you've got two rollers, drive rollers, okay? One there, effectively, and you got one there, sort of. All right. They're two drive rollers. They are actually serrated, they are, on that plane. Not all planes like that. Some of them are rubber. But this one's, I hope the sound audio is okay. I've got my radio mic on, but you know, hope it's okay. So those two rollers are serrated. You then got, okay. You then got your, got my rule here. You got your top, all right? The bit you put your wood on, all right? In this case, this top on this planer, all right, has like a column arrangement in the middle of there, so to speak. It goes up and down, right? So that can go up and down. That adjusts your height. This is all fixed. Now you've also got. I need a bigger round. Oh me! I can draw around myself. That would work. Oh, this tin here would do. Some contact adhesive. That would do it. So I've got my contact adhesive by Eureka Glues. Yes, the name that sticks. All right, and effectively, think of that being your cutter block in the middle there. All right, so here we go. Are you getting the picture? An argument. So let's say, for instance, it could be a quad, it could be a triple, it could be a double cutter block. In fact, that thickness and is a double. It's just got two knives. My other one over there has got three. And anyway, that's the material. This is the cutter block, right? Now, this cutter block is rotating in this direction, which also is in material. So what it'll take its chips off and throw them out that way through your dust extraction system. But the point is, you've got these two rollers holding down your piece of wood. What can I use now? Where's my rule gone? Why do I always put things down and lose them? I've got a piece of wood here, that'll do. It's too long. What did I do with that? I didn't put it back on. Oh dear, these things are sent to try, yeah, that they are. All right, I've got a piece of woodish stuff here. That'll do. All right. Now, all right, let's say, for instance, you pass your piece of wood through, we go in this direction, okay? So you've got to go in that direction in this case. So you're passing your piece of wood through the cutter block is going yum, 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 yum. This roller's holding the piece of wood down to your table. Fine, okay? At that point, you should be obviously supporting the end of it. And once you've got to grab it, should push it, hold it down to your table, and then pull it through, like so, right? Now, this is where the problem lies. As soon as you go past the cutter block, I'm going past the cutter block, okay? They don't sound like that, by the way. Anyway, so you're going past the cutter block like so. This is where the problem comes. So you've got your first roller as you come in. As soon as you drop off this roller, okay? And if you're allowing a lot of wood to poke, to bounce off the end here with no support, it'll come off that roller and effectively fall off that one and then pivot on this point here, on the edge of your table. And then what happens is you'll end up taking a big, scallop there. All right? You'll what we call snipe. You'll take a big lump out of your piece of wood on the end of your piece and they'll end up in waste. So providing all your rollers have good downward pressure, that helps as well. And many box planers don't. Okay, if you're talking about your little DeWalt's and stuff like that, little box planers, which are great things, but you need to make sure you're providing some support for the top, for the wood as it's passing through. Now, another thing is obviously this pivot point here. So you want to make sure that you're either here to take the timber and providing a little bit of upward pressure like so. So effectively you'll be pushing against that roller a little bit, just taking that tension. As that comes off that roller, that will remain against the table itself and then just get chucked out and it won't, end up with snipe. Did you get that? Oh dear, am I having too much fun? I do love playing with my wood. Not my wood, how you cheeky devils, you. So anyway, we're going to run up through the plane. Who we got here? Anyway, oh come on. Hello? Hopefully a quiet chat now. Yeah, it's not like the other channel. Hope you're well, my friend. Oh dear. I had a bit of a break, that I did. And then I thought, oh no, I'll do another one. I might make myself a coffee in a minute though. I do that every day and most of the day and put stuff down and forget. I do that all the while. Sometimes I forget things. I have to go to the Capitolis. Oh, I know what I want. 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 Oh, feck. I forgot what I need now. Bugger. What was it again? Now, I used to do that years ago, but I'm doing more and more these days. So I've got 5 minutes. I get so much bloody brain fog these days. Now, Alistair probably knows from my other channel where I forget people's names or stuff like that. It's just stupid. It's really annoying. Really annoying. That mixed with the bloody pain. I've got so much pain at the moment. I'm full of blinking tramadol. I'm like a walking tramadol, me. Anyway, let's run them through the plane. I'm all over the bloody place, isn't it? Here we are. There it is. There's the plane. All right, so let's switch it on again. No snipe, you see? Because you allow that pressure. This plane is actually quite good because the rollers, the old machine, there's a lot of downward pressure. You see, sometimes the old tools are better. Oh, that's what she said. Now that's really annoying because now I'm going to have to run them all through again just to get rid of that one on that board. So that quarter of a turn, I reckon, just a little tiny bit, and start again. See that last board? Oh, this one. Nearly there. I'm checking the edge of the board each time, seeing what way the grain goes, because the cut block effectively is going in that direction. If the grain is leaving the wood in that direction, like that, effectively it'll cut against it. I could get like little chips coming out of the wood. So it's better for me to make sure that the grain is going in the correct direction. In this case, it's going that way. So if the cut block is going to let you stroke on the top of the grain. And the same principle applies if you're using a hand plane. I forgot to put the air defenders on. So the other thing to make sure is obviously you've got that bit, yeah, there's a little bit there that needs to come out there, so make sure you do the right side. Go around. There you go, that's that done. I need to run a hand plane over them, not where those staples were, mind. Hello Jane, I hope you're well. Yeah, we're live on the woodworking channel for a change. Back in the door! I've been building the door, I have. Yep, recycled wood. So actually some of the wood is over 100 years old. It does give you a few issues, as in you've got to think about, like for instance, where there might be like knots and stuff like that, because they'll be gnarly, you see. They won't be like fresh young knots that to work with, but you might get ones where you might have to put a, well, like for instance, I put where is it? I had to put a I can't see it now. Probably because it's definitely there. I had to put, where did that go? Where did I put that? Not on the side, is it? No, can't see it then. A bow tie, you know, like a Dutchman. Yeah, a bit of sand, that'll be right. It will burn a little bit. It's oak, you know, it's too hot. Now, I think a lot of this is American red oak and not French oak. This looks like American red oak to me. It won't matter because it's gonna be, because I'm using a lot of different oak. It's I've got to think about the colour, and if I go if I don't dye it, it's just I'm using a nut dye, and it's yeah, just a very simple water-based nut dye. Put a couple of coats of sand down in between coats, lifts the grain as well, just so I can put a coat of satin lacquer on it. We're not oiling the door because the problem with oils is on external woodwork, especially oak, it can react, and you end up like little black dots everywhere, and it's like, it doesn't look very pretty. You know, anywhere where water seems to congregate on the door, it'll end up black. Not rotten, but just like it'll stain the wood. So it's better to put lacquer on, and also it helps seal any joins and stuff like that. Doesn't it? Fills any holes if there is any. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty door. And that's a pretty hefty frame. You know, it's going to have a water bar in the bottom, so effectively the door will fit into the water bar. It's not a threshold, it's just a water bar, because the threshold, she doesn't really want a threshold if she can help it, because it's just a trip hazard. What style of door? It's literally a half-glazed oak door, but with straight panels, not straight boards, not actual panels, because that's what she wanted. So it's a bit of a cross between a colonial and say, for instance, a farmhouse door. Because my normal farmhouse doors literally is just borders right to the top within a frame, and then they'll just have like a port window in a square port window. And sometimes we put stained glass in there and stuff like that. That's what we use on for customers. I haven't done much of this kind of woodworking for a while since Brexit. I used to have so many. I've made so many doors for customers, and we used to get like a couple of cubic meters of wood in at a time from the mill, and it's just all raw, de parallel, you know, Wayne edged wood. And machine it up here, and I used to take the. I used to use up there. There's a skill saw, so quite a large 10-inch, well not 10-inch, 9-inch skill saw, Makita one. I used to use that with a rail system that I made ages ago. I haven't used it for ages because I haven't needed to. Which is literally, it was made temporarily to do one job, and I used it for years afterwards because it worked. It just worked. There's literally See that wooden ladder thing there with the metal rail on it, which is basically plaster at a straight edge. I used that with a carriage system, and it just worked so well. I had to replace that Makita saw was the third saw that I've actually had on that. That's how much it used to get used. So I used to burn the bloody things out. Really good, really, really, really good. In fact, I'll try and find the carriage. Where's the carriage? It's on this bench somewhere, or up there. Simple idea, but it works, you know. And you just literally plonk this piece of deparallel wood underneath the rail, and the rail's floppy, whatever. You just there's no clamping needed, just the sheer weight of it, and you just run the saw up, and just glide through. Brilliant, really good. I think, yeah. And I literally first made that in a bit of a hurry. It's only nailed together, and it cost a couple of trestles outside. Then I mounted it in here permanently. It's not permanent now because I took it out. It just works. You got to work around things. You know, you see a problem, you have to think, hang on. And it's the same with woodworking. You know, sometimes you get a problem that you might have a knot, but you don't want it. Or you find a flaw and it's too late, and you can't do much about it other than completely scrapping it. And you think, what I could do about that? Well, you don't necessarily make a feature of it, but you can disguise it in a way that actually becomes a part of the door, or the window, or whatever you're making. And because I do a lot of kind of arty stuff, people expect it almost. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like my doors in the house. I've got several doors, internal doors in the house, where I thought, no, I'm going to go with that piece of timber. I'll just put a bowman in. Yeah, a bow tie in, sorry, or a Dutchman. Which is just like a little double dovetail. You put it in the piece, you know, you basically let it in, and it has a little bit of character, a bit of beauty, and also it just disguises or gets rid of the actual knot itself, or whatever flaw it might be. And there's a couple of little flaws in this door that I'm going to probably do something similar to that, you know, as well. Because you're working with timber that's air dried over a very long period of time. So it has had the heat on, had the sun on it and all that sort of stuff. So you will get additional. It's not going to move. It's dry as a bone. I put the meter on it, didn't even register. You know, it's that dry, but it will grow. That's the thing you've got to watch out for. And the same with these pieces of wood. They might be dry. Like I said, I've got a meter. Let's try it. Let's go and get my meter. It should be here. Here it is. Oh my God, my drawer's all full of sawdust. I need a serious cleaning, I'll tell you. Right, that's my moisture meter. I hope it's still in there. I hope the battery's okay. There it is. Right, so that's my moisture meter. It's a panel type. That will register now because I've put a water-based dye on that, so there will be some moisture in it now, I imagine. But it wouldn't even register before. Oh, battery's okay. Softwood, hardwood. 4%. See it? Let's take it up. 3%. 3% bloody moisture. So it's not going to, or 4% now, depending where you are. Move it a bit. Yeah, 4% moisture. So it's not going to go anywhere, is it? Apart from grow. So you have to allow for that. So when I put this door together, I'm going to have to make sure there's enough room for it to grow. And because it's been done with a tongue and groove, and it'll be quite a chunky tongue and groove. It's not going to be like a skinny, like 4mm wide tongue. Because it's a door, I need to make sure it's fairly solid and resilient. These are now down like 23mm thick now, these boards, I think. Look at that. They were 26. But I've took a bit off, so it might be 23, 24mm thick. So they're 4%. Now I wonder what this is now, because this was lower. It's probably higher now, yeah, 6%, 7%, because I've put this water-based dye on this morning. So it's still got some dampness in it. But still 7%. It's well, it's well, it's still okay. It's very dry, as you see. Yeah. Let's find a wet piece of wood. Oh, wet wood! Oh, I missed out on that one, didn't I? What about this barrel? It's got water inside it. No, that's dry because it's baking in the sun. What about this log? Baking in the sun. Didn't even register on that. That's a softwood anyway. That's the wrong one. Let's find stuff in there. That's so hot out here. Everything's going to be bloody dry. 1%, 2%. Means it's just humid in there, isn't it? Right. So let's put that down. So it is. Yeah, you can use it on logs and stuff as well. You just got to change the settings. So moisture meter is a very handy thing to have, and especially these pad toppings, they don't damage the surface. You get obviously the moisture meters with the pins in as well. So that is quite a good little thing. So what we'll do is we'll true up these edges. They haven't got to be perfectly true because we're not actually joining them as such. We're just going to make sure they're straight, so they don't look bloody awful. And also take off the saw cut. So first of all, though, before I do that, I'm just going to press the button on my coffee machine. Oh, got into my little room, into my dungeon. Oh, I've already. Right, why ain't it working? Is it doing that again? Right, is it got the old thing in there? Yes. I literally put that in this early. What Cameron does, she's seen these, I've took these out of the machine. And what she's done, she's come in there, took the mugs and stuff away, and thought they're just coffee pods, not realising they're used ones. And she's put them back inside. There's another one in there used. Or was that not? Was that a new one? I've got some more up there. I'm going to be making my short videos in here as well later, when I get round to it. I've got a little voice and stuff in there, so. Oh, that is, yeah, let's put a new one in. They got little barcodes on them, look. Little barcodes, that's how they know if it's used and what, how much liquid you have to put through it. Arr, it's working now, it's working. Arr, Jim lad. Oh, another hot day. It's a warm old week it is, I'll tell you. Part of what you do is woodwork, and you love it. I don't blame you. There's something about working with timber. You know, so it's obviously it's a natural material. It's also interesting because no two pieces of timber are the same for a start. So you're working with materials that are every piece is a little bit different. You get the grain and the way you got to work it, and you know, obviously something's got knots in some bits of different parts of the tree. Come on, Mr. Coffee Machine. I need my caffeine. I need my caffeine. Oh, they never put enough water in, so you've got to hold your finger on to get that last little bit. It's really annoying. Dairy do me. I want a full cup. I don't want a little espresso. No. Give me a banging headache. Oh, that's where they went. I've been looking for them. My safety specs. At least I know that, though. Let's say that. Right. Here we go. Are you going to stop? Blimey. This machine's okay, but then you get sucked into these bloody things. And you can't, there's no, the Tasmo ones, you can't buy a copy. They've got them patented, I suppose. So you can't get copy ones. Which is really annoying. Because they're expensive. I don't have many coffees out there, so it's not too bad. Right. So we've got to true up these edges, haven't we? Let's put this down. Now I tend to use powder resin wood glues as well. So when I do these rebates on here, these beads on the outside edge, and I'll be doing them with, I'll be gluing them on with Cascamite. Oh, there they are. There's a poster by me, I think. There it is. Cascamite powder resin wood glue. Because I like it. I've used it for years, and it's they did have a period of time where it was a bit shit. Yeah, they did need to ruin. But then the manufacturer changed. It's now Eureka glues instead of polyvinyl. So just got to take that off, basically. Now, if you look at that, can you see those ripples in there? That's because whoever passed that over their jointer, their transit speed to the rotation of the cutter block, they were going too fast. So effectively it didn't have a chance to create a smooth finish. Because providing you're going fast enough, like for instance that planer there, to joint the edge of your boards, if you're going slow enough, it should be pretty smooth. But if you want, if you want to make sure of it, what you do is you get your hand plane, if you've got one. You run that over, and yet again, it's just nice because it creates these little peelings, even though that needs to. Oh, it's trying to take too much. One. Tell you what, let's use some different planes. This is a number 7 Stanley Bailey. Let's retract the iron, so it's not taking anything. Then forward a little bit, so I don't want to take too much of it at a time. I also make sure I'm taking an even swipe. Not quite there. Let's try that. I need some wax. Wax on, wax off. You've got to do your wax ons and wax off. Oh, there you go. Bit of candle wax or paraffin wax that you use for conserves. Yeah, we do your jam. I've got to feel this later because my shoulder's killing me at the moment. There you go. That's right. That's doing it. You see, the thing is, if you don't have a smooth edge, even though it's not that important because when it goes together, there's going to be a gap in between anyway. So you think, oh, is it really that important? But the thing is, you see, if I use the router to create the moulding on this, might be an arrow, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I might just take the arrows off. I might put a chamfer on it. I don't know yet. But either way, I'll probably be using a bit that has a roller on it. And because it's got a roller on it, it'll follow all the little lumps and indentations in the edge of the wood. And that will then get passed on to your moulding on the actual shape you're trying to create. So it just looks rough. So it's always a good idea. Just I only want to take a little bit off. That's all I need to do. That edge has got staples in, so I'm not, or had staples in it, but I knocked one back, didn't I, on this one there. So there's no, I'm going to leave that on. You're not going to see it because I'll make sure that goes to the edge of the rebate, so it won't matter. Same with this one here. So I'll do that edge, get those two out of the way so I don't make a mistake and accidentally plane a staple. That's not the staple diet my plane is after, I'll tell you. There you go. Lovely. Just 2 swipes like that. There's enough on that one. Make sure my hands over it. You can see that. Or you look down, you can see the shadows. There ain't any, so that's a good sign. Put that over there. So if I run my hand over there, I can feel this, the saw cut. You know, it's got a new blade, but even where you've got a new blade, you can still cause. It can cause burning in oak stuff. There's a little bit of burning there, not a lot. And that's obviously because I've wiggled a little bit as going through the saw. And then there's more burning on that one for some reason. Is it burning or was it just a bit of old? No, it is a bit burning on there. Obviously I was dawdling and on there, because that's where obviously where I was passing through the saw, and obviously stopped or did something. Don't know what I did, but I did something. Yeah, again, you've got to make sure you're planning in the right direction. So if the, for argument's sake, if the grain was going up this direction, like so, and I was planing in that direction, effectively the blade, or the plane iron, would catch. And you'd create a little, potentially you could create, little tufts. The same, so what you do is you make sure to go in that direction, which it is. So that's what this door here, I've got to put a bowman in there, because there's a knot there. So I'll put a bowman in that. Or a Dutchman. Bow tie. Double-end fish tail, I don't know whatever you like to call it. That's a terrible bit of machine planing, isn't it? That's really bad. But we'll get rid of it. So that grain is pretty darn straight on that one, on that edge. So really a direction on that one. Take out that. It's not even straight. You see here, well, I'm planing here, and then there's nothing there. It's not touching there. So either the wood has shrunk over the time, or he had a bit of a hissy fit with the planer. Or she, whoever done it. done on there. That's 3 done. Ah, there. There. Did I tell you, Alison, we're got our eyes open for another dog. We want another Wally though. I know we can't replace them, but you know, just we've been looking. We've got to keep our eyes open. We're not going to rush into it though. You don't make mistakes. The thing about a dog is it's something you get for a very long time, you know. All our dogs were under 2 years old when we got them, but they're all rescues. We've been really lucky, to be honest. They were lovely animals. But I think it might be because we're soft with them. They get away with murder. They really do. God, my Wally. He was such a little sod. But I loved him to bits, really did. He was an escape artist, he was, because he liked to go and see the girlies. And the amount of times as me going out hunting them down, looking for my dog, got to a point where I ended up investing in a tracker. A GPS tracker for him, and we used to map him where he's going. So we think, yeah, oh, I know where he is. He's down the Parade. Oh shit, I'm there. He's down the Parade. So then I get the car, go straight to the Parade, I know exactly where he is. I've got the tracker, and then open the door. He jumps straight in. What a little sod. Happy as a sandpiper, you know. Covered in mud because he'd been. What he used to do, he didn't used to, you know, walk along the road. He used to go down the valley and down the streams through the mud. So we're covered in mud. But it's what, you know, it's kind of what made him what he is, you know, or was. And no, he got stressed, you see. He got out of it in the end. Early on, when we had him early on, we went to get some ducks. That's these Muscovy ducks, because we had a bit of menagerie going on here, sheep and goats and God knows what else. And, now, I went the wrong way. So I can show you. I went the wrong way, I did. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see where I've got some tear out just there? Can you see that? Best way to show you is with a bit of chalk. I don't know if you can see that there. There's some tear out there. And that is because I went the wrong way with the handplane. So I need to turn it around and go the right way. Now, if the grain is going up and down like a fucking yo-yo, well then I'd I might end up having tear out over here instead where it's smooth and tear over there where it's smooth. But yeah, there's an opportunity to try. That's better. There you go. Yeah, I got rid of that. So it looks that way around, but yeah. Anyway, we went to pick his ducks up, and he was getting stressed in the car when he saw there's other dogs there. And anyway, he decided to eat my GPS and chew around the door for around the rubbers of the door. And yeah, I wasn't very happy. That was a motorbike GPS as well. That was expensive. So yeah, little sod. It was funny though. We'd he loved playing ball. So he literally just going, you know, he chucked the ball, he goes to get the ball, he brings it back to you, chuck the ball, goes back. It's just constant, literally constant. And he'd do it when we go to bed as well, because the dogs all sleep in our bedroom in their little baskets and what. And they'd jump on the bed with the ball, expect me to throw the ball. So I'd throw it out the window. He'd run downstairs, through the dog fountain out and get the ball, come back again. It's just like this. Caroline used to go nuts. I'm trying to sleep. And there's Wally playing ball. Me encouraging him. Oh dear. He didn't do bad though. He passed away last year. He nearly made 15. I think that's a pretty good age for a dog like him. And plus he had problems as well. He had quite a bad heart murmur. So he was on loads of medication, and there was oh crikey, what else did he have? I can't remember what it is now. He had a load of medication anyway. But you know, that's what happens when you get old, isn't it? But he still had the mind of a child, like he did. Still wanted to play, but his, you know, his body started failing him. But I do miss him. I do miss him. There you go. I know I've got the plain iron down, but I've got it on the piece of wood, so it doesn't matter. To be honest, actually, if you go to woodworking classes now, in the UK, I don't know anywhere else, but in the UK, you'll be taught not to. You'll be taught not to do that. You'll be taught to do that. Personally, I prefer to do that, you know, or use rubber mats. I've got a series of rubber mats that I usually have on my bench. I can't. The doors take all the room up, and I'd let you put my hand planes onto the rubber mat. You use sand dead mats, 600 by 600, 2 foot square. Rubber isolation mats for a washing machine. Cut it in half, and you've got 2 of them. Also great if you want to route a long piece of wood. You can put on each end, and effectively stops them from sliding. So when you want to route it, like for you to put a rebate in or something. Or moulding, anything. That's good. Whoever machined this log should have done it in the other direction. There's a lot of quarter sawn in it. It's all on the edges. There's quarter sawn on there. Look. Is that it, quarter sawn? Sort of fleck. There's a bit of a fleck in it. There, look. That's burnt there. But that's a bit of quarter sawn there. And look at the edge of the boards up here. There's loads in this one. Look. Quarter sawn. It's lovely for theirs. It's almost like lace wood. I've had a lot of problems with my shoulders and my arms recently. But I've got this fibro thing and it doesn't seem to go away. Normally it sort of attacks another part of my body later on, but this time it seems to be lingering. Now, I haven't done anything that would cause a problem. Like, you know, anything physical that I know of that's done it. I have done physical stuff, obviously, but I have been doing boarding. I've been boarding a floor upstairs, which will be coming right over this ceiling in this workshop. We're creating one great big bloody room, and it's going to have eventually be open, looking out over the valley. Eventually, if money allows. The only reason it's getting boarded at the moment is because somebody donated me a load of boards. A friend of ours, basically, they're used ones, you know. They want to get rid of them, so I said, "Oh, don't chuck them. I'll have them. Give me a few bottles of wine." It's the last one. Oh no, one more after this. So it's yeah, very handy it was getting those. It. Flip that one over. That side's done. Just need to do these 2, and that is the last one for now. Now, one board, or maybe 2, I'm going to have to widen a little bit. And there's a reason for that. I don't want, because these had to be cut to a certain width to the where the glue joints were. Because I had to get rid of the old glue, because I can't have that old glue in the door, because I don't know what sort of glue it is for a start. I don't know if it's, you know, waterproof, and also it's old. So is that so? Could be animal glues. I don't know. Pearl glue or something, you know. Rubber finger over. I'm not, because I can tell whether or not I took enough off. In case you can obviously feel the saw marks from the teeth. Right there for a second. God, my shoulder's hurting. It's like a throbbing pain. Oh, got to do that size yet. Oh, you forgot. Do that one. Get that off there. So I need to widen 2 boards. So there'll be 2 boards in the door, slightly wider than the other ones, just so I can make up the distance across the door. But I don't want to do that with narrow strips because that look awful, isn't it? You know, and because all the boards are pretty much the same width because of how they were glued up originally, and I had to cut out the whole glue line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have probably 2 boards in the door in a uniform position that'll be slightly wider than the other boards. If it makes sense. Try and balance it out. Originally, she didn't want me to do this, but I was originally going to cut the boards like the French, like in the French way. What the French tend to do, like for instance, if you look at the floorboards in my kitchen, which you can't at the moment, but if you could, they're effectively tapered, and they're tapered for good reason, right? And it's to do with waste, because trees don't grow straight. Trees grow tapered, don't they? You know, and if you have a piece of oak or chestnut, my coffee, piece of oak or chestnut, it will effectively be wide at one end of your board and then the other. So it's not going to be uniform, is it? So what they tend to do is they would ping their line through to use the majority, as much of the wood as they possibly could. And that way they won't waste anything. They won't have all these long, narrow, tapered pieces of wood. So, yeah, that way, by the time we get to the end of the floor, there might be 2 less boards they're going to have to cut. And when you consider they were cutting these boards all by hand at the time, over 100 years ago, in many cases, you know, on site, they would want to limit the amount of work. So what you'd end up having, let's go back to the blackboard. So what you'd end up having, don't forget to boot the old like button. I've got 63 people there, there's only 12 likes. Crikey, you must hate me. You must hate me. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to try and do more live streams on this channel. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you'll get notifications when you get rid of my plane. Oh crikey, what am I doing? Oh, hang on, I've got a scrubby thing here. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, just in case you didn't understand what I was talking about, I've lost my rule. I don't know what I've done with that. It must be here somewhere, but it don't matter. I'll use this piece of wood instead. Oh dear. Oh well, never mind. What the hell did I do with that? It didn't go nowhere. Obviously put it down somewhere, but where? Oh, anyway. So, effectively, if you know, obviously your tree grows, doesn't it? And it grows like that, and sort of like that, and it's sort of tapered, effectively. 2 ends of the board might not be the same. So what they used to do in France, not now, because it's all done by machines now, isn't it? You'd get you lay one board down, which have a tape on it like that, so to speak, on your floor, right? And then you lay another board down like so, and you put it in the opposite direction. And then like that, you know, different widths, it didn't matter. You know, we are in France after all, you know. And the time you get to the end, you'd compensate. Let's say, for instance, you went too far over one way. Maybe that board is, you know, your last board isn't quite tapered or something, so you end up with a bit of an angle on the end. You'd compensate that. That last board would be cut to suit, or it'd end up in the wall, you know, where the plaster would be going over it. But also on the ends here, you see, what they do in France is instead of actually stepping the boards like you would do if you're doing like most flooring, you'd stretch your board. So you'd have a board there and the board there, then the other board overlap that board when, you know, and that board, you know, be overlapped by that one or something. You know what I mean? So like brickwork almost. But how they used to do it in these old French houses, they would literally do the next row of boards and butt it up. They might be staggered here, like one be there, and then it's wet now, so it's not be helpful, is it? It's wet. It's dry off. So it might be one there, then there'll be one there, and there, and there. It didn't matter. They didn't care about that. And sometimes they would actually have another piece of timber, about 40 mil, 50 mil wide. I'll be on top of the beam. Remember, the beams would be like 6x6s, 150 mil squares or bigger for the floor joists. So there's plenty of room for that. And then they'd like I say, they'd then have their floorboards coming off Still a bit wet. Coming off there like so. It's hard to explain. It actually looks really good, Dan. My old, because it's so old, I suppose, really, the floor in my kitchen is the original floor. The only problem is it's not insulated, so we might have to do something about that. The thing is, you could lift it and put it back down again, but you'd probably split it because of the old nails. You know, because all the old nails would be going into old oak and ripping them out. You'd be better off trying to cut the heads of the nails off and lifting the boards if you want to try and renew them, but it'd be a hell of a job. Just so you get insulation underneath, but that's why people don't bother. You know, they end up just, well, what do they do? Well, they just end up getting some new flooring, some chipboard. Lovely. Hello, Billy. Hope you're well. Coffee drinking and talking doesn't get the job done. No, you're right, it doesn't. I'm still doing it. I need to build the channel up again, you know. This channel's gone a bit stale. So I need to work on this one. I need to do some more saucy videos. That's what I need to do. There's a few videos on this channel, a bit ridiculous. But they did really well. My shirt is inside out, I won't be surprised. You're bloody right, it is. Oh, so I took me in a hurry. Too bloody hot for shirt anyway. Was it inside out? You're bloody right, it was inside out. Well done. There you go, what an idiot. Never mind. Fair to be. Gives me something to put my... You put it on because I need to put my microphone on. Have I found any old trees that have been used or grown for the purpose of shipbuilding? Not so much these days. A lot of those old trees are gone. I know what you mean. A lot of old trees, when they're young, would be tied. So they'd be effectively grown into a bend. All sorts of stuff like that. But, you know, you talk about the Spanish Armada. That's really thinking ahead, isn't it, you know? All lights to Wally! Boop the light button! Boop... Oh, my Lily, yes. That was very nice, isn't it? Mike is making stuff. What is Mike making? Good day to you too. He did have a good life. Sebastian's 14. Yeah, so he's getting on. He's got loads of problems. He's also got heart problems as well. He's got congestive heart failure. Basically his heart is big, you know. So he had an X-ray about 2 years ago, and it was big then. So yeah, don't get me wrong. It's he ain't doing very well at the moment, to be honest. He's coughing a lot. He just can't. When he's asleep, it's okay, but then he gets up and have these coughing fits for ages. And we find that Ventolin, and you actually can Ventolin with it like a volumatic type thing. And he also has a steroid inhaler that helps. It definitely helps. Opens up the airways, but you know we I don't think we're going to have him for very long. I really don't. If he gets to 15, I'll be surprised. I think we might lose him this year because he's getting quite poorly. So it's not great. Little Pandora though, she's a little bit younger. She's 12, 13. But she's solid as a rock, she is. She's just a little thug. Yeah, but it's yeah. They come a part of your life, don't they? Obviously, we're had from a young age. So they're a part of us. Caroline's really, like, she's been very nervous about it because she loves little Sebastians a bit, she does. And so do I, to be fair. Can I say what I make? It's a big door. That's what I'm making at the moment. I'm just doing the bottom boards for the door in oak, about 23, 24 mil thick. And it's from recycled timber. So it's very old oak that's been I've reclaimed, which is not easy because you've really, with old timber, you've really got to pick your bones, pick for it. It's quite often you can't use half of it. You can end up just using like, I don't know, 18 inches of 400 mil, 500 mil, of the timber. To get a full length to do a door, it isn't actually very easy at all. Plus, it's hard as old nails. It is hard as old nails. So now Sebastian's 14 and a bit. So he was 14 recently. So yeah. Oh, you're a glazer. Cool. That's a skill in its own right, isn't it? What is your area of expertise when it comes to wooden cups? Wooden cups. I suppose you've got to be careful what type of timber you use on that. What, as in, turned wooden cups? Goblets? I have made goblets before. The first ones I made on the lathe years ago, they just split. Because it's round, you see, it shrinks in one direction. It's really hard to get them to. You've really better use something like Peps or something like that. I don't know if they can. Is it hygienic? Is it healthy? Probably not. How do you stop them from splitting? Because in fact, they're going to shrink and then, oh crikey, be better laminating them up with. You could laminate them up around something, couldn't you? And then turn them. Then remove that something. Much more percent. For sure, it's inside out for over an hour. Oh dear me, I don't care about shit like that. As you probably tell, crikey. Half the time I'm bending over, shooting my arse hanging out. Oh dear. No, I haven't seen. I'll tell you what I have to, because I've been in the boat building game for years, all right, with my dad. He's a boat builder. And we used to do a hell of a lot of steam bending of green oak. And in fact, once you steam bent it, you've actually seasoned it. It's funny that, but what we used to do is we used to have a big old tube. And you bent an angle, we used to heat the old tube at one end with a burner and the steam inside, and we'd have a bung on the other end with a rag over it so it could breathe a little bit, but not too much. It didn't pop, anyway, it forced the steam into the wood. And we'd do that for 30 minutes, an hour, or whatever it needed. It depends how thick the timber is. And we often did that when we got to do the gunnels around a boat. So, like for instance, you've got to bend them around the bow a certain way, or around the stern if it's like if they're a refit of an old Watson or something like that, where you've got around stern and bow. You get to a point, obviously, at the bow, you've got to laminate that up into either with strips of wood, or you'd actually create it with blocks. But these are skills that they're getting lost. Now, a friend of mine here in France makes lights, right? Fancy lights. And he used to buy the old Cascamite off me. And he didn't need much. He's just starting out, you see. He's quite busy now. He makes a lot of these LED lights. They're all like twisted oak and stuff. They look really nice, A lot of money, but there again, you're relying on how good these LEDs are, aren't you? Fail, and you've got a very expensive light that don't work, which you can't really replace the LED in. But anyway, he was steam bending all this oak and using Cascamite for that, because it's ideal for that, you see. But he did it in strips, and he'd glue it all up and laminate it as well around all these forms and stuff. Really nice things, really good. But yeah, it's a lot of these skills are not really been used anymore, are they? It's more either specialist or hobbyist, or it's people who just want to take an interest. No, I have got some. Sorry, I have got some tube that I want to use. I do want to make a little chamber for steam bending, but for smaller pieces, probably up to 2 meters. And I'll use an old wallpaper stripper steamer, because it's not going to turn off. You can use a kettle. You have to sort of bypass the little bio thing, bimetal trip thing inside them. So I'll probably just use that we've got wallpaper steamer because it's running all the time. You just basically just push it into a hole and that to work really well. Steam a piece of wood, take it out, it'll be a bit floppy, clamp it to my form or do whatever you want to do to it, and it should be jobs are good. But yeah, you can create all sorts of wonderful, weird, twisted things if you want. You do it with green oak. So effectively, as soon as the tree's felled, you can machine it up to some degree, then create your steam bent work. Hello, Andy. I hope you're well. I remember you and Rusty 118. 188, I should say. Ah, Miss Norfolk. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Norfolk in the UK. It's a nice place. Especially North Norfolk. The coastline, Norfolk is very nice. Just don't go east towards Yarmouth or Galveston, those sort of places. Don't, yeah, all those stuff. Just stay away from that way. Just anything from there upwards, Haysborough and right up to maybe Salt House and all that. Yeah, that way is quite nice. You got to Hunstanton, sorry, not Hunstanton, towards the Wash. I like water, me. You know, I'm not saying I'm a water baby, but I do like the sea. And I am landlocked here. Well, I've got lots of lakes where we are in France. Good idea where we are if you don't know. This is my messy outside area that I keep meaning to tidy up and never get round to it. This is a messy pile of old oak that we're going to be making something out of. I think we're going to be doing some outside areas like a rustic gazebo-y thing that doesn't blow away with the wind. And then over here we have our first bay of solar panels, and there's another bay on the other side. I'll walk over this here. I'm connected to the other end there, so that's okay. So I've got the solar panels there that provide most of my electric. And then this evening, once the sun goes down, I'll be out here with my machine and we'll be cutting around the trees. So these are some of the trees that we've put in so far. And then there's another field over there. We'll plant down into the valley because this is our land here, and then not where the first fence line is because we let the farmers use that. But we've also gotten down in towards the valley to the anyway, we're dedicated about 2 hectares for planting trees on. So yeah, and my little Wally dog, he's buried at the well, not down the well, but beside the well. So yeah. It's a nice place to live, it really is. The sun goes down over there, so we get to see a sunset every night, as long as it's not cloudy. And we grow our own veggies and fruit and God knows what else. So the thing is, it's hard to keep up with. It's an old house, you know, it's an old French farmhouse, for which, you know, we have pretty much done it inside. It's pretty nice. And that's our little house. Well, it's quite a big house really, I suppose. The rooms are huge, but we kept it as it was. We didn't add loads and loads of rooms, if you know what I mean. We could have done. And then we got here was our garage space next to the workshop, in between the workshop and the house, which is through there. And this is what I've been boarding recently. So that is going to be boarded. I've got to put the rest, 2 more joists to go in there. And then we're going to be going over the top of the workshop. And then over the top of the far workshop eventually, which will eventually be outside, and I'll fiberglass that roof. So it'll be a floor, there'll be like a deck area. Or something like that anyway. So that one day we're looking forward to, you know how it goes. You know, it'll be nice, but there you go. So what happened with us, we got really screwed over by Brexit and it really damaged my business. So I do more YouTube now than anything else. But for me, for now, I am going to call it a day. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Because like somebody said, talking and drinking coffee doesn't actually get the job done. I do actually need to get this door done. Get it on my bloody bench. So anyway, for now though, toodaloo. Thanks, Alison. Take care, my friend, and everybody else who, it's in the old chat there. Don't forget to boot the old like button on your way out. Toodaloo.